Well, we'll meet again on News in Focus. Many thanks for always keeping it Ebru Africa. I'm Linda Alela Mathambo. Now, today we're going to talk about understanding drugs and drug abuse and, of course, addiction, which is actually a very key problem in the nation at large, and also, it is actually affecting the youths at large. In reality, drug addiction is a complex disease which many people do not understand. And of course, in as much as you would want to have this goodwill of quitting drugs, sometimes it can be a bit tough, especially because it works differently and of course changes the performance of the brain. So today we have guests on set who are going to help us tackle and of course unravel issues in matters drug addiction and give you that little hope that indeed, in as much as maybe we think that it is a tough thing, good thing is that drug addiction can actually be treated. So joining me, of course, right next to me is a counselor, of course, drug addiction, and he's Evans Ombura. Many thanks for finding time to be here with us. Evans Ombura is an addiction counselor of Reflection, Rehabilitation and Counseling Center. And right next to him is a beautiful lady, Angela Monjaro, who's also a counseling psychologist. And of course, she will also share a story to us, of course, in matters drugs and all that. And of course, on my farthest end is Gregory Mushiri. Gregory Mushiri is a recovering drug addict and also an addiction counselor, Reflection, Rehabilitation and Counseling Center. Karibuni sana. And of course, thank you so much for also taking the brave step, of course, for Mushiri right there to come and share your story. And of course, give this person who's at home, give this other person who's been struggling with drugs hope that indeed this is just, this can actually be a game of the past. So I'll go straight to you people, of course. We start by this. What is drug abuse in the first place? Because it seems like most of us do not really seem to understand this term in as much as we mention it here and time and again.
Linda, thanks a lot. Drug abuse can be anything that you take, any drug or substance that is taken, but not in the real sense, in the way it's supposed to be taken. Just like, let's take prescription drugs. You'd be told by a doctor, take 1 or 2 tablets in the morning, another one in the afternoon, and 1 jioni. But you will start with 2 instead of 1, and because you feel you're really bad, you decide, let me take 2 instead of 1. That's drug abuse. Number 2, we have things like alcohol. We have marijuana, which is also abused when taken. Let's say any substance, any mood-altering substance, anything that alters the functioning of your brain, your body, and in any way it's taken, whether snorted, whether it's drunk or intravenously put into the body, can be used as a drug.
You see, you're talking about this, and it reminds me of a story, of course. Sorry to cut you. I remember while in school and all things, when teachers get excited that maybe they caught you somewhere taking something that wasn't good and all that, So there was this lady that we were schooling with, and all of a sudden, she was sent home, of course, for taking drugs and the likes and everything. And the mom could not accept. She was actually in denial. So the next thing come with the parents to meet the board and all that, so on board and everything. And the question is that everyone is there, they're listening to this child. Of course, the mom is like, no, my daughter cannot do this. And then they go like, I will not mention the name, so and so, do you take drugs? And she goes like, yes. So of course there's silence in the room because the teachers are like, yeah, indeed. The mom was saying she cannot do and everything. And what kinds of drug do you take? That's the question. And she goes like, Panadol, Dawanol, like everybody, in as much as maybe there was so much tension, everyone broke to laughter and all that. So it just reminded me of that. Of course, back to you. Well, why do you think people take drugs? Maybe you should answer that.
There are many reasons that people take drugs.
Yeah.
Most of them, in my experience of dealing with people who've been battling addictions, problems stem from the family.
Yes.
Family where you're born, where you were raised, the family that you live in. It could be a marital spouse. There's usually this the instability of families.
Yes.
It drives people to addiction in a form of escapism. Yeah, there are many reasons, of course, but that was, in my opinion, that's one of the key ones. There's, of course, peer pressure. There is low self-esteem. There's because when you take drugs, you become someone else, seemingly, quote unquote. There is availability of the drugs. You know,
Oh, it is readily available. It is cheap enough for you, so why not?
So,
yeah?
so why not? You know, there are people who have a curious personality. Yeah, such.
All right. Okay, Gregory, I'll come to you. Earlier on, of course, we need to hear your story, and you tell us that what is it that got you into drugs? I mean, could it be some of the reasons that she has mentioned, or what?
Okay. Yes, she has put it. There are so many reasons, but to me, I started, I think, when I was in class 7. That was due to poor role model. That's my uncles, those people, my cousins. They used to take alcohol so they could sneak home some. They could make me sip. By the time I went to secondary school, I was in Kanunga. I met Kanunga boys. I met other people who were using it because I had already been introduced. I joined them. So there in the school now, I was put in need by the peer pressure now. Yeah. And by the way, I was an addict in Form 3. I was already an addict.
So for how long have you been taking drugs? I mean, okay, your journey all the way starting from there and up to this level where you can say that you're a recovering addict. How long has it been?
From 1995 to 2012. Yeah.
All right. Okay, fine. I mean, we'll come back to you. I'll ask you this. What really happens to someone's brain, you know, for it to reach a level that we can say it's an addict? Because in most cases, sometimes we say addiction comes with you taking so much, you know, that substance, so much. I mean, time and again. There are people who actually take the same substance for a long duration of time. But then again, you see, it's all a different cycle for different people. So.
Yeah, I think our body metabolism is different. And there are people who will take one drink and you'll not get them out of that drink.
Yes.
There are people who will drink, go to work, and you'll never notice.
All right.
Yeah. But we call them functioning alcoholics. They are alcoholics, but you.
So those ones are safe?
Yeah, they're safe. They are there, and,
yes.
And that's a very big part of alcoholics. Yeah, we have quite a big number who are not focused on. You know, right now we focus on those that we see in the streets or in our families and all this, but they are those functioning alcoholics.
All right.
What happens in the brain?
Yes.
When you take like alcohol? Let's give an example of alcohol. Yeah, or any other drug.
Yeah.
Once it gets into your brain, we have what we call dopamine. Yeah, it depletes the dopamine in the brain.
Yeah.
So so you get that the brain will always be asking for, hey, what did you give me yesterday? Yeah, I still need what you gave me yesterday, because there's that feeling, the euphoria, the highness. Yeah, the brain will always be asking, hey, yesterday there was something that you gave me. So. And that comes up, we now come up to cravings and all this. Yeah, but what happens really is that you take this and after some time, you know, alcoholism or drug addiction does not come mara moja. No, it needs time.
Right.
Yeah.
I really want to understand what is the difference between these people who actually, you know, there's this desire that when you take a drink today, come tomorrow, you know, the brain will ask for it. But for some people, it's not the case. You know, there are people who actually go like, I don't want to see that thing that I took yesterday again. What is the difference between these two people? I mean, for instance, I have tried that before. You know, I would take alcohol like today, but trust you me, come tomorrow, I will not even want to see it anywhere close to me.
Exactly.
So what is the difference?
That's what I was saying, that our bodies are different. Yeah, the metabolism in our bodies, you know, the way we react to certain situations, just like any other person who reacts to a certain situation. Right now, if there was a lion here, we would all react in different ways. That's the same way that these drugs, it can affect some people, and it may not affect others.
Yes.
As I said, there are people you give the drug today. He or she may not want it tomorrow.
Yeah.
There are those, you get the drug today.
And you want it tomorrow.
You want it tomorrow.
Okay, fine. Wanjara, what do you think about it? I mean, for instance, I think I'll just use my example, you know, personally as example. Sometimes, well, I don't know if this is a confession or what. sometimes, you know, I see people smoking and I actually want to just go close to them because there's something that arouses me about, you know, the smell and all that and everything, which is totally different to alcohol and all that. So how where do you get the discipline to just act like, yes, I will not even take it and, you know, all that? I still don't understand myself because, I mean, up to date I say kudos to myself that I've never taken a step to start smoking and all that because I know if I start, I will be something else.
I think it all boils down to someone's willpower, the self-restraint in them.
Yes.
I mean, there are values and principles. I'm not saying that people who indulge don't have values or principles, but I think if you have an extensive knowledge of what will happen, the consequences, you become more careful.
So we say
cautious.
Knowledge is power, like it's
knowledge
very, very
is power.
important.
So you'll be cautious as much as the flesh is weak.
The desire.
Yes, the desires, we all have them, you know.
Yeah.
The flesh is weak, but we will always approach with caution, knowing, especially if you have the knowledge.
Yeah.
Let me put it like that. The knowledge is power, like you've said.
All right.
Yeah.
Gregory, do you want to say that you did not have the knowledge that, of course, alcohol is bad and anything else? And actually, I don't know if you would be free to mention some of the things, some of the drugs that you used as a person.
Okay, first of all, you see now, there are those things that I could see my uncles do, like walking, when it's raining, they're there bouncing, singing.
So it's a nice...
I had that curiosity, yeah.
How do you get this nice feeling when it's raining and you know?
So I started kuoja, just to feel how they are feeling now. But I had no idea that alcohol could ruin my life the way it did. I had no idea that these drugs affect the central nervous system, that is the brain, the gastrointestinal system, that when I had no information that when using all these drugs that I was using, that there are other effects that were going inside my body.
Okay, so do you feel like maybe the society, the government has not given enough information to the people down there, especially to the kids? Like you say, you started when you were way too young. I mean, and it is so sad when you say that you did not have this information. Okay, as a person, what have you done at least to go down to the people and make sure that at least they get to know that, okay, this is not good, maybe go to schools and all that?
Okay, first of all, this should not first come from the government. It should be on the ground, the parents themselves. Because even the parents are contributing a lot to the usage of drugs by their children. Yeah, because they are not telling them the truth about the drugs. These children, most of them are at their ages, they want to experiment things. The information they are getting from the wrong side. In fact, I've been telling even some, when they see a person land mad in the village because of bang, they should speak it out. They should say that person is that way because he used cannabis. But you see now, wanasema ni kurogwa, vitu kama hizo. Now, these children wanajua that they grow knowing that only kurogwa is the only thing that brings about
you of course
brain disease. And even the parents are poor role model. Look like currently what they are doing, going to the bushes with their children.
Were your parents present when you were getting into this?
What?
Your parents, were they present?
They were there, but they could not, the information, they were not giving the information concerning the drugs. Only when they started giving, it was already too late because there was an addict.
All right, of course, we'll come back to you to get to know how it was, you know, the journey and all that, to a point where you felt like maybe this is no more and all that. And back to you. After how long would we say that addiction can occur? Like approximately how long? Or it's not about time, it's about how much you take it?
Well, it's time is a factor, but at the same time, the makeup of our bodies is also a factor. Because there are people who will drink once and get hooked. There are those who will take a long time. But the majority of people take a long time to get to where they are, to be addicts. Most of them take a very long time, unless it's genetically motivated, because we have
genetics, of course,
it plays a role. Our social ways also play a role, like my friend said. You know, we are taking these kids to the clubs and all this. Maybe if a kid starts early, he'll also become an addict early. So time factor is also very important.
Okay, so we also put in the question of, you know, like environmental, you know, hazard factors and everything, and also biological factors,
Biological,
yeah?
yes,
Which are some of the things
biological,
that I think we need to
like,
tell out to the people.
Like we have families that are genetically, they are like, we would say, addicts. Yeah. So if a child is born in that family, there are is it 7 to there's a 70% chance that
they will, 60, 70.
Yes, that
60,
they will also fall into
that.
Yeah.
So, okay, as counselors and everything, are there things that you do on the ground to make sure that this is not bound to happen? You know, like for instance, you study the lineage of this particular child and maybe bringing something on board and try to help them out before it's too late.
Yeah.
You do, so, for instance, like what?
You know, you take the family history into account when you're getting the basics of the person.
Yes.
And when you see your family is that is you're predisposed to addiction, that is a good enough reason to know that you're more likely to get into that stage if you indulge. So just the fact that you know, many people didn't know that this thing is a genetic thing also. Isn't that so?
Yeah.
In most cases, we actually, I mean,
just be like, this is a family of drunkards.
Yes, and sometimes your dad could be a drunkard, and at the same time, when he sees you drinking, he would even kill
yes.
you. Like, honestly, why are you doing this?
Not knowing that you're already vulnerable to the disease itself, more than someone who they don't have it in their family.
In the family line.
Because of that's the whole thing that he was talking about. The whole structure of the brain, the makeup of the body, is in the genes.
Yes.
So you're already susceptible to it. So once you know that, you're already one step ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about how, you know, like the brain produces pleasure after you've taken, maybe probably the two of you can share something small and tell us, okay, this is it, this is what you cannot go astray with, this is what you cannot avoid and all that and everything. I mean, something like that.
Okay, you see, drugs and alcohol, why people take them is because they give you a high, isn't that so?
Yes.
Like euphoric feeling.
You have this kind of stress.
Albeit short-lived, but it is there. But the problem with the drugs and the alcohol is that it's short-lived. So you'll need to consume more to feel the same way. And then it becomes a cycle because, and then again you need to go and get some more to feel how you did just the other time. Meanwhile, the body, the mind is deteriorating. And every other aspect of your life, social, family life, you know, all other aspects of your life are deteriorating while you're getting that euphoric feeling. Our bodies give us natural feel-good feelings using dopamine. He mentioned it. Dopamine is our natural and the one God gave us.
So you used to walk in the rain. I mean, after all that, you used to walk and bounce in the rain.
Yeah.
And it felt nice.
You feel nice?
Yes.
So why do you decide to walk away from this feeling, from this nice feeling? In as much as it's short, I mean, you can always take alcohol like the entire time and feel good, like forever.
But you see now, I started seeing that my family members, it's as if they are rejecting me. I started fighting everybody.
There's a point of rejection.
Yes, I was insulting everybody. So many fights, bandages every week in the hospital, police cells. You see now, I started saying, is this my life that I'm living or not? So I started weighing the good things now about my using of drugs at the other side, because I could also see my friends who are not using, they were well, they were okay.
Yes.
And now they could not even, they also rejected me. They could not even associate with me. So I was associated only with those people who were using like me. And my health had deteriorated. Everybody. I also engaged myself in behaviors that like stealing from home just to get that money to buy those alcohol and bangi. You see? Now so many things started happening now. It reached a point where even people started saying, huyu ni kurogwa amerogwa. Even now it reached a point where my mom got sick because of thinking about me. In fact, I was bright in school. They had high hopes of me. And now there I was dying of alcoholism and drugs. Even sometimes they started give up and said, now we are waiting for God, for God to take you. We are going to try for a day. For 3 days, then you bury and forget more about
Let me ask you this. Why is it that always it reaches a time where you actually don't even eat? I mean, alcohol becomes sweeter than food or what?
Yeah, that is, you see now, it affects even the gastrointestinal system, the instance, themselves, appetite inakuwa chini. You don't have time for food. In fact, with 200, I could use 10 bob
For food.
for food. Yeah, the rest with a drink.
Oh, so sad. Anyway, so would I be wrong to say that this is a voluntary behavior in the first instances?
Let me put it like this. At first, it's voluntary because,
Yes.
of course, you want to try it. But addiction is progressive, so it will get the better of you. It's cunning and
it
clever.
No longer becomes voluntary. You
yes.
desire it, and you know.
It becomes a compulsion now beyond you, where now you need help to.
Okay,
get
as a
out.
specialist, maybe you've dealt with these people at
Yeah.
that point. Is it always the case with almost everyone, and like it reaches a point where it is no longer a voluntary thing? Like there's this desire, you have to get it and everything, and you're trying to fight it?
Yeah, most of it, we have a stage, you know, you start like a social thing, then after some time you become dependent.
To it.
Yeah, you become dependent to it. For us to determine when somebody is dependent, we have assessment tools. Okay, but in simple terms, is you find a case like whereby somebody is drinking, knowing the hazards of my drink.
Yes.
I drink and maybe go and drive and all this. I drink, I'm always in the police stations. When you look at such incidents, then you know that there's a problem. This guy is becoming now dependent, and
Of course, it reminds me.
leading to addiction.
Yes, it reminds me of the driver who left, you know, passengers
Yeah.
in the vehicle
Yeah,
the
like
that.
other day and
Oh,
disappears. You know,
Yes.
like really, is it that bad?
That is now a serious issue.
All right, well, let's go back to adolescence, of course. We're having our youths, we're having our adolescents suffering with this thing. And like specialists say, I hear that it is even tough to prevent them at that particular age. How is it like with adolescents?
When you look at adolescents, their age, they really want to discover. They really want to find out, what is it that dad is hiding in his bedroom? And at that time, they are like they can easily become addicted to these things. To the drugs, yes.
And
Because-
which is even tougher
yeah,
to
it's very
get them
tough,
off it.
yes. Because they are curious, so they would overindulge. So at the end, you find we have a lot of addicts.
All right.
And adolescents are, like from the study we are having, adolescents are more on the hip, the new kind of drugs. Yes.
As compared to, of
As
course,
compared
the
to alcohol.
Boratina, the
Yeah.
Busa alcohol, and all those
they,
things.
They don't do a lot of alcohol, but when it comes to drugs, marijuana, we have LSDs, we have prescription drugs.
And you know, it
they are
is
very
even
good
sad.
at
Leave alone the prescription and the likes. We have weed cookies. We
Yes.
have, you know, it has been made
Yeah.
We have
very
all sorts of
easy.
things.
It is very, very sad. Of course, we're going to come back. We're taking a short break, and we'll come back on the same. Of course, the adolescents, and you know, the point where nowadays parents do not actually hide their drink. You know, you just put it on the table. Like in the houses, we have this bar in the houses and all that. And you're thinking,
Exactly.
what gospel are we preaching
Yeah.
to our kids? Remember, you can get help, of course, from any rehabilitation center. But most so today, we have a rehabilitation center on board. Check out the numbers on your screen, and indeed, you will surely get help. In case you just feel like, of course, this is just way too much for you, well, it's never too late, because we say that addiction can actually be treated. Well, let's take a short break, and of course, we'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.